What's going on, Craig?
What's up, Joe?
What do we got here today?
We got some pretty interesting things going on here, man. Holy cow, look at that.
So, welcome to Switching Gear.
Yes, listen, guys. Subscribe to our channel, please. And join us.
For some
Coffee and
beverage, refreshment, caffeine,
and a little guitar,
stimulation, and a little guitar. Just a little bit.
Yes, so we are here to talk about two similar yet very different instruments in that we have a Mexican-made Roadhouse Deluxe that I'm holding here. And Joe's got a really special instrument there. Why don't you tell us a little something about this guy?
This is a Fender Custom Shop Strat, but this isn't any old Fender Custom Shop Strat. This is a John Cruz JC 295. And if you don't know who John Cruz is one of the master builders over at the Fender Custom Shop. And he is highly coveted in his craft and very, very in, I guess, high demand.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is one of his Strats. And
your Dropbox is full. Anyway,
that's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, so this is one of his Strats. And what we're going to do today is take a look at a custom shop versus... sort of an entry-level Strat.
Yeah, so this is made in Mexico. So this is really the other end of that spectrum, right? In one hand, you have not only a USA Fender, but one from the custom shop built by master builder who's incredible at what he does, and like you said, very sought after. And on this hand, you have a made in Mexico Roadhouse Deluxe, packed with some pretty cool features, actually. So this is no slouch. This is a really good playing guitar. It's got some features. It's got a preamp built into it, which is nice. And it's actually a preamp bypass. So when it's on, it's on. You have to turn it off, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's built into the volume knob. It's a push situation going on here. The tone has the 6 clickable
Really?
tone options. I find the lower the tone, the thinner. The higher up, it gets fatter. And
Okay.
I'll kind of demonstrate that
Interesting.
right now. Well, if I had sound, it would help. It's kind of getting fattening up as you click up through the options here. So for a guitar that's considered entry level, it's packed with some cool features. It plays really nice. It doesn't feel like something that's entry level. One of the first things I always do is I do this up the fretboard, see if anything's hanging over the side, and it doesn't feel that way. It just feels really nice. It feels to me no different than a USA Fender.
Right.
So hats off to the people down in Mexico making these, because they're making pretty fine instruments, I think. Awesome. So what about this guy? So
like I said, this is a John Cruz custom shop Strat. It's fully relicked, as you can see, and just look at that. It's
look at that.
That's
out gone. That's just a chunk missing.
But I mean, the immediate thing you notice about this guitar is the neck. It's totally worn in, and it's amazing how they do that to relic these guitars, because it feels like it's been played for 30 years.
Yeah. Yep.
It's modeled after a 60s Strat, an early 60s Strat. You could see with the headstock and the old spaghetti logo, and just the look of the tobacco sunburst.
Sure.
The pickups themselves are based on early 60s Strat pickups. However, they were wound by John Cruz, from what I've been told, and they are wound to be a little bit hotter than standard Strat pickups.
And he's a bluesy player, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine that this is going to ooze kind of bluesy tones out of it.
Right. And if you do a little research on John Cruz, he was the man behind some of the really monumental Fender reissue, Artist Series reissues, like the Stevie Ray Vaughan number 1.
Absolutely.
As an example, that's one that he produced, and it's they're all incredible instruments.
I think he's been with Fender for like 30 years,
30 plus,
long time.
Yeah. And he's the guy, and he's in like I said, high demand, and this is one of his creations. Jumbo frets on this guy. You got the rosewood fretboard. You got the old style whammy bar here.
Yeah, the rip the hell out of your
with the screws,
palm of your hand.
Sharp screws. There.
You got that too over here.
But yeah, I mean, it's standard affair here. You get a 5-way, 2 tones and a volume, but just really nice, very comfortable guitar. Could get chunky.
Like the greenish tint to the pickguard's cool.
Yeah, it's that like mint.
Yep, that mint green. That's
mint
cool.
Green.
Yeah.
Check it out. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, let me see this thing. I want you to see what you think it is. It's light. Feels pretty light.
To this thing. Well, you got a battery compartment in here
Yeah,
with this guy
true.
too, right?
Yep, well, it's the preamp.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I didn't realize you too. How about that neck?
Neck feels awesome. Oh my God. It
You know what
totally
reminds
feels
me
like
of?
it's been...
Go ahead. What does it remind you of?
I'm going to think that you're going with roasted maple. Sort of.
A little bit, yeah.
It feels like,
little
I don't
bit.
know. What were you thinking?
I was going to say it reminded me of not necessarily the dimension, but the feel of that Nuno model, that with the N4. That we
the
recently
N4.
reviewed. Just the feel, the worn-in feel of the neck.
And
Different profile.
Yep. No, I mean, and that's really cool. I mean, it looks broken in and it feels broken in, and that's really cool to be able to get that out of a guitar that's seemingly new, right? I mean, it's not like it's been played as much as it looks like it's been played. It's relicked, but it feels that way. And man, what a great feeling guitar! Holy cow! And it sounds a little more angry than I was expecting it.
Vintage, but angry vintage.
Yeah, it's got like a growl to it.
Yep.
It's pretty darn cool. I guess that's the custom wound pickups. The guy knows what he's doing.
And
people want him for a reason.
You spoke about,
it is.
fret dressing and the feel this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Look at that. I want to bring this up a little closer so that people could see just how awesome of a job that is on the Relic. So cool. Beautiful. Nice. So let's hear that guy. Let's see what you think of that.
Is this on or off right now?
Is it up? If it's popped up, yeah, that's off.
That's off. It's cool. It's not.
No, I think it's
that.
Yeah. So I think it's a bit of an unfair comparison in that you're talking about really polar opposites.
You are. Right.
But I'm going to say this. This guitar, to me, does not feel like a cheapo.
No, not at all.
And it's
not at all.
It's packed with features. I think it's really cool. It's not this.
It's not.
But
the big thing to me, although the preamp is cool, the pickups I'm not a huge fan of.
Those are just noiseless, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. With this particular guitar, I think if they had a little bit more growl, like you were saying, this guitar, it would serve this guitar better. Smaller frets.
Yep.
Personally,
definitely.
I like the jumbo ones.
Yep. I'm in agreement.
But yeah, I mean, this doesn't feel like an entry-level instrument.
No,
by
they
any
don't.
means. The neck profile is nice. It's a flat neck. Oh.
there's not a whole lot of difference between just the standard U.S. Strat and the Mexican Strat. This is a different animal.
It is.
But, I don't know that I would justify the price difference between the made in Mexico and a regular U.S. Strat.
That's a good point, right?
Yeah.
Because if we're talking about a verdict, right, I mean, there's a very big price difference between
of
these
course,
two, right?
yeah.
I mean, this is super high end.
And it feels that way. And it's the type of thing where if you're paying that kind of money and you get this, you feel like, man, it's worth it because this is what I paid for and it feels great.
Right.
But
if you're going to go this versus, say, a standard USA Strat.
Yeah, I don't know that there's that big a difference in. And maybe one day, we will compare just that, just a basic regular U.S. to a made in Mexico and see how those feel together. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't know that. I think you're really paying for the fact that it was made in America rather than what you're getting out of the guitar itself. Because I don't know that you're getting a whole lot of difference between the American and the Mexican. Because that feels pretty good to me.
It feels good. Obviously, there's a lacquer on the neck.
Yep.
Totally different than this.
Different feel.
Different feel, different frets. I mean, again, these are not comparing apples to apples by any means. But to your point, just for an out-of-the-box guitar, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, it sounds like a Strat. Yeah. I mean, if I had to choose, of course. I don't
I'm going to take them. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean,
awesome.
Listen, if price is no objective, then you can go to the custom shop and get whatever you want, built to your specs. This thing feels like a very, very broken-in, comfortable instrument.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not you like Strats, whether or not you like the neck profile or not, it feels very worn-in and comfortable.
Yep.
And would take you no time to get used to. This is a guitar that you'd have to probably get work on it a little bit, play through it a little, break it in.
Yep.
Break it in is the word.
This comes pre-broken in.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah.
But it's great. I love it. It's a special instrument. I'm really happy that we got access to one.
Yeah.
And we got to review one and bring it to you guys. Because, man, it's really cool. And I hope it comes across sounding as cool as it does in here. Because it sounds great. Feels great. This is the winner.
Yeah, it is. But to that point, and we've said this in other episodes, if you're looking for an entry-level instrument, this is a great Strat also. Definitely go check these out. Again, if you're on a budget, this guitar gives you anything you need, and you could always swap out pickups. This is just my personal preference, right? You might love these pickups, somebody else might love them, but you could always swap out pickups for a couple $100.
It's a cheap modification that could change everything.
That it does change everything,
Yeah.
And that's we've spoken about this too. Changing your pickups out on any guitar is probably the single most important or biggest change you can do to affect the tone of an instrument. I mean, it'll take a guitar that sounds terrible and make it sound great, depending on if you put the right pickup in the right guitar.
So it's funny because you mentioned a Nuno episode before, and this felt a little bit like the N4 to you, and I feel like the verdict's kind of the same, right? We had the N4, which was this $2,500, whatever that was at the time, and then you had the N2, which was the little brother, and it was a $600 guitar, whatever it was.
You really can't compare them. But they hung.
It hung.
Yeah.
It really served a nice purpose, and man, if you're on a budget, that N2 is beautiful. Just like this on a budget is, I think, a good instrument and something that people, you get a lot of bang for your buck. And people talk about the depreciation. The American guitars hold their value more. I'm not so sure about that. I think
I mean, it really depends what you're buying a guitar for.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you're buying a guitar to collect it, chances are you're going to spend a little bit more money on it because you want it to be a collector piece. But if you're going to buy a guitar to play it, right, you should enjoy it, and you could love a $700 guitar just as much as a $7,000 guitar. And you talk about how many guitar players changed history with $500 guitars,
or things that they made from parts that they could just scrounge up. Nuno, Eddie, two guys that Brian May, another one. There you go.
Okay, game-changing instruments, game-changing players. Doesn't have to be a $7,000 instrument, right? So it's really what works for you and what's comfortable for you.
Yep. This is comfortable.
It is comfortable.
All right, John Cruz wins.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Subscribe.
See you.
See you.